views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Hello, and welcome to Open 2.0. I'm your host, Katlin Harris. On this edition of Open 2.0, we will be honoring Autism Awareness Month as we speak to the CEO and founder of 3D Sports and Recreation. Please welcome Lizette Hernandez and her son, Donovan Hernandez, to the show. Hi,
Thank
guys.
you. Hi.
So just by starting, I just want to start off by asking, what is autism?
Autism is a developmental disorder that impairs the ability to communicate or interact. So a lot of times individuals with autism have a hard time expressing themselves, communicating. Some are verbal, but may have a hard time getting their point across or maybe not appropriately. Some are nonverbal, but have some sound. And it also impairs their ability to interact. So sometimes most times they're socially awkward. So they either don't have a good sense of personal space, or sometimes they may come up very, very close. Sometimes they don't allow people to get very close to them. Mm-hmm. So there's a saying that says, if you know one person with autism, you know one person with autism. So it varies.
Is autism hereditary or genetic or in that case?
I don't know if it's hereditary. There are speculations that there may be some sort of genetics that cause autism. There's a lot of conspiracy theories as to what causes autism. Some people feel that it may be vaccine oriented. Some people feel that it's just, scientific. Some people feel that it's maybe certain things that happen while the child's in the womb. There aren't any real concrete evidence as to what causes autism.
What techniques would you give to a parent coping with a new autistic kid?
What techniques? Educate yourself is number one. When Donovan was diagnosed, he was just about 16 months old. And before that, as a mom, you kind of have this intuition. And something told me that something was a little off. And I did have, he has an older sister, but they tell you not to compare children because children are different and they develop differently. Mm-hmm. But as a parent, when they told me that he had autism, even though I suspected something may be a little off, it was kind of a blow to me. And I didn't know anyone else who had a child with autism. So what I did was I went on the internet, I got myself educated, I tried to learn as much as I could about it. Again, it's still something that people are still studying and learning more and more about. And just try to, again, educate yourself, try to find other people that are in this, they call it a journey of autism.
On the same path as you.
Yeah.
So what tests did he have to go through to help determine?
I can't tell you specific names of tests that he had to take, but we did have to see different doctors. So he had to see a geneticist, he had to see a neurologist, he had to see a psychologist, Once you start on that path of diagnosis or autism, you're going to be very familiar with all these different acronyms, all these different doctors, but it's a process.
It's a long process. Are there support groups for parents that are new to the whole
Yes.
journey?
There's an organization called Bronx Parent Autism Support Circle. They meet the second Tuesday of every month. So we recently, D3 Sports and Rec, the organization that I founded, partnered up with them. So now we offer support groups the last Thursday of every month at Scanlon High School.
Which is the school I go to.
Exactly.
Now, I know that you guys came on Christmas, and we talked about that, and you guys were saying how we can volunteer because you have sports, which is baseball. So what is D3? What is that organization
D3
about?
Sports and Recreation, Inc. is an organization that I founded. About 5 years ago, Donovan, we were watching my nephew play baseball. And as he was watching him play baseball, Donovan, anyone who knows him, they think he's nonverbal because he doesn't speak very often. But when he wants his point to be made, he knows how to verbalize. So he came up to me, he said, "Mom, I want to play baseball." And to me, that was like the biggest thing ever. Like him verbalizing, telling me that he actually wanted to do something other than sit on his iPad or draw was amazing to me. So I tried to find a place for Donovan to play baseball that was tailored to his needs. And I couldn't find anything in the Bronx. I did find something afterwards, but we ended up going to Westchester so he can play baseball. And while we were there, I said, "Donovan, do you like this?" He said, "Yep." I said, "You want to come back?" He said, "Nope." I said, "Why?" He said, "Because I want to play real baseball." So I reached out to a local Little League in the Bronx, BronxChester Little League, and I asked if they would allow us to have, some field time. And they were like, "Sure, if you get about like 14 kids, the field is yours." And that first year we got 65 kids to play. And now we're up to like 115, and that's because I have to say no. We don't have the funding, so it's hard for me to want to, be able to accept everybody that wants to play because it's just not possible for me. And so I started D3 Sports because after baseball was done, there was nothing else for them to do. And so I decided to start an organization where children on the spectrum and their families had a place to go where they felt comfortable, where there was no judgment, and their kids were able to participate in different activities that parents, once they found out their child was autistic, didn't think they were able to do, like art and baseball.
So you guys do baseball. Do you guys do other activities besides baseball? Like, do you have like a basketball team or like?
That is my
volleyball?
dream, is to be able to have my own facilities, my own staff. Right now, this is something that I do on top of my regular 9 to 5 that I do Monday through Friday. Right now, we were just given a second grant from Bronx Council of the Arts and Autism Speaks, so we will be having our third sensory art program, which we do at Scanlon.
So we have to take a quick break, but stay tuned for more Open 2.0.
Okay.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Searching for help with Dachshund breeding.
No.
Let me try. Sarah's bright, but when she's reading, she has trouble sounding out words.
Playing world music.
What?
I give up.
Wait, I was trying to show you how Sarah feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
Welcome back. We continue our discussion with Lizette and Donovan Hernandez of D3 Sports and Recreation. Hello again.
Hello.
Okay, so speaking of D3 Sports, like you said, the dream is to make it more popular with sports, as in like basketball, volleyball, stuff like that. For the baseball kids, I know there's probably parents at home watching, what are some of the requirements for the kids? Because, some are more aggressive than others.
There are no requirements, just that the parents show up and that they enable their child, they let their child try. I think sometimes when we have children, we're already very worried and concerned about them adding on a disability. We tend to become helicopter parents, and we're kind of hovering all the time. Just being able to allow their child to be themselves. Sometimes we are just very protective, and so we want to make sure that no one is harming them, or that, people aren't annoyed by them, because sometimes going to the park is just hard. Sometimes they're stimming, making noises, or, acting as what other people would consider inappropriate. So it's just important that they be comfortable and allow their children to be themselves. It doesn't matter what functioning level their child is. It could be higher functioning, lower functioning, in the middle, just as long as they show up and they try.
What is your approach with a more active kid?
If a child is higher functioning, we're all together. We're all mixed together. We just kind of tailor to their needs. So like if a kid has a little more trouble holding the bat, then we have someone assist them to hold the bat. Maybe they can't have the ball pitched to them, so we'll have a tee where they'll be able to hit the ball off the tee. If they're a little bit more able to hold the bat, then some kids have the ball pitched to them. Some kids can hit without using a tee. We even have some kids that put on catcher's gear. It's really mixed, and it's completely tailored to their needs. So if they're having a hard day, a bad day, they don't want to come into the field, they can hang out in the dugout. They can come out just to hit the ball. If they want to go pick daisies in the outfield, they can go pick daisies in the outfield. It's all about how you interpret it and how you look at it. So if you look at things inside the box and want things to stay inside the box, then you're never going to enjoy it and you're never going to get the experience that you should get out of it.
So you guys compete against each other? Since there's a lot of you guys, do you make like multiple teams?
We have 8 teams this season.
Oh, so you have 8 teams.
We have 8 teams. We have 2 T-ball teams that play each other. With children on the spectrum, they do well with consistency and structure. So every week, the children play at the same time. So our T-ballers who are 4 to 6 years old will always play at 10 a.m. Then our minors, with our 7 to 9-year-olds, will always play at 11:30. And then we have 4 major teams. So 2 of the teams will play at 1, and then the other 2 teams play at 2:30.
So what motivates you to keep going? Because I know, like you said, you have a 9 to 5, and then you have your son to worry about. So taking this journey is, adding on to it. So
what motivates me is my son, my children, all 3, because that's where D3 comes from. All of them, their names start with the letter D. And basically just being around the parents, being around the children, seeing parents seeing their children do things that they didn't expect them to do. I've had dads that said, wow, I didn't think that I would have my kid in Little League, Donovan, for a while, I was the helicopter parent. I didn't want to let him go. My husband would yell at me, why are you always holding his hand? Let him go. He can walk by himself, At the park, I was always over him. Oh, he can't do that, no. And then my daughter was like, well, why I have to clean my room and he doesn't? And I realized that he's a kid, and I need to allow him to be a kid. So for me, just being able to give parents that knowledge, that experience, so that they feel comfortable. We just had our first Valentine's Day dinner where parents were like, I've never taken my kid to a restaurant. We've never been to sit down without, having crayons and things like that in front of us. So it's all about being able to, I say creating a village where we all come together. It's about awareness, but I want to spread so much awareness that there's acceptance. I want people to not look at my child as if he's different or less than a typical child.
A regular child. Is there any upcoming events that D3 is hosting for the viewers to know about?
We have our support group, which is going to meet this Thursday, April 26th. We meet at Scanlon High School. It starts at 6:30. And then we also have an advisory committee for anyone who's interested in just wanting to help out, because we're looking for ways to get funding. We're looking for volunteers, anybody who wants to help out during baseball, during our art programs, through our special events. We have a Christmas event every year. We have a Halloween event. We had our first Easter event. Anybody who's interested, they can go to our website, d3sportsandrec.org, and get more information.
Thanks. Unfortunately, that is all the time that we have for today. I want to thank our guest and you, the viewers, for tuning in. For more, you can follow us on social media at BronxNet TV. Until next time, I'm Katlin Harris. Have a beautiful day.